Okay. 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 Last time I played this, I completed level 205 and got to 206, which I didn't actually play. So we'll start now playing Toy Blast like I'm doing, yeah. And like I'm doing now, yeah. My OCD seems a bit worse today. I mean, I've um, I've tried changing my intake of my medication. Because I had been taking 2 of them each day for about a year, and I was feeling pretty terrible by the end of it. And so I started thinking that maybe I need to kind of change things up and be more sporadic and whatnot with me intake of the medication, because I remember in the past when sometimes I'd have good times and sometimes I'd have bad times when I was more sporadic and inconsistent with me intake of this new medication. And so I thought maybe I could duplicate that by being more sporadic with them again deliberately. So because um, um, because I can't remember what I was going to say again. Yeah, uh, um, it's because of the OCD making me all scared and anxious all the time that I can't really focus on things and uh, and so I forget what I'm talking about and what I'm gonna be saying and whatnot. I mean, when I try and think and remember what I was saying, I start feeling anxious and doing mental rituals, and so that makes it harder to remember as well. I did not bad, didn't I? Just short of my top score there. Uh, now 207, which seems to be lots of piggy banks and bubbles that we need to get rid of. Okay. I'm still trying to remember what I was saying before about being more sporadic and inconsistent with my medication, because my theory was that my body and my immune system or whatever was getting used to the regularity of 2 of the tablets a day, and that maybe meant that maybe my system or my body or whatever is hardwired to feel negative and unhappy and worried and undeserving of good things and whatnot. And so maybe by default I just go to a kind of worried, distressed frame of mind when things are normal for me. Maybe my body thinks that's normal, And so maybe to try and confuse it. I mean, maybe my body thinks that's the desired way I'm supposed to be. Maybe my body thinks that's the normal, desired way that I'm supposed to be, kind of. I know it's hard to grasp what I'm saying here, but I mean, it sounds strange to me even, but what can I do? And yeah, maybe my body feels like that's the way I'm supposed to be. Nervous and worried and fearful and all the time and whatnot. And so maybe I can try and trick it or fool it by being more sporadic with me and taking the tablets, like I say. And that way I'll sometimes have bad periods, but then by being unpredictable with the tablets, unpredictable to my body, I mean, maybe then I'll sometimes have good times as well, as opposed to just always feeling kind of terrible and worried and scared and dumb and whatnot. Because even though my OCDs was still bad in many ways today, I still feel kind of I still feel somewhat hopeful due to the fact that I'm not excessively worried about things. And this will be a good move now of how I'm going to get rid of all these pigs with these two power-ups. Oh yeah, that was quite satisfying indeed, wasn't it? Yeah. And yeah, because um, I'd be in normal circumstances, I'd be worried about the hurricane that they say is coming to the north of England, because that's where I am. Uh, in normal circumstances, I'd be worried in case it brings thunder, the hurricane, and in case our power goes down at night or whatever, and so I'll be like kind of stuck here in the dark with like the flashes outside and whatnot, feeling terrified and whatnot, um, and so oh yeah, I don't feel all that bad because I've been having my headphones playing fan sounds from YouTube videos at night, because it's getting towards firework time here in the UK, and I like to block it out by wearing headphones and playing constant fan noise as I'm doing it, yes. And um, what was it saying? Oh yeah, and and when this was very close, wasn't it? Yeah, after several hours of listening to the fan noise on my headphones at about 30% volume, um, I hear a kind of tone in my ears as to imply that my ears didn't necessarily like that kind of treatment for those hours, and it was just 30% volume and of the constant fan noise, and so it makes me think that if I get really anxious, like if it thunders and I do the headphone treatment if it thunders, then it makes me think that I'll turn I'll have it done maybe up to 100% volume, because I remember last year when I would have my volume at 100% when I was listening to the fan noise on my headphones around about the bonfire night time of year, and and not only didn't I hear any fireworks, but afterwards the tone sound in my ears was so severe that various sounds like people talking and whatnot all sounded kind of muffled and whatnot at night afterwards, until I woke up the next day from my sleep, and then I think they felt normal then. And so it makes me feel a little bit better thinking that if I listen to the fan noise in my headphones at 100% volume for a few hours, it makes me think that in addition to the fan noise stopping me from hearing things um, when I'm during at times of stress and whatnot, it makes me think if the fan noise stops me from hearing things, then uh, then on top of that, I'll also have the knowledge of knowing that um, that my hearing is temporarily desensitized as well by the sheer volume of the constant sound coming through my headphones, and so that makes me feel even more relaxed and happy about going through loud times that I don't like and whatnot. Uh, I mean, people have always criticised me for it, saying that I'm soft or mentally weak or whatever for not wanting to put up with loud times and whatnot. But when I think that's ignorance really, because we all have our own unique strengths and weaknesses and our own skills and talents, don't we? I mean, imagine if, say, Alan Shearer or whatever went through life being highly critical of all people who weren't good football players, and went on big crusades insulting and discriminating against them all just because they weren't good at football. He'd soon be in the newspapers um, being criticised and vilified himself, wasn't he? Or imagine if Arnold Schwarzenegger started him mercilessly criticising all unfit people just because he was um, such a big bodybuilding champion back in the day. Imagine if he started criticising all people who. Imagine if he started severely criticising all people who couldn't bench press 500 pounds in weight, for instance. That'd be kind of ridiculous in itself, really, wouldn't it? And yeah, you could imagine all the criticism he'd get for that, couldn't you, really? And so, by the same token, I don't really think people should criticise me just because there's been times when I've avoided loud sounds in life and whatnot. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, I say. And that's exactly the logic that I'm sticking with in life. I mean, you get some people who are bad leaders, and or some people who are just badly organised, or some people who are bad at mathematics or whatever, or bad at sport, and then you get others who just uh, who are easily overwhelmed by outside stimuli and and very quickly suffer sensory overload, I guess you could call it. I mean, sometimes doctors and whatnot have thought that I might be autistic, and one of the common traits of people who are autistic is a sensitivity to loud sounds and whatnot, and other environmental stimuli that they might come across. And so, what's this? Get off! I'm busy. I don't care about presidential speeches from cowards. I mean, I vote. No, I didn't vote for Donald because I'm not American, but I did want Donald to win the presidential election when it was happening, and um, I still think he was way, way, way better than Hillary could have possibly been as president. But I but I still think he's downright cowardly. Large originally because he wasn't doing anything at all to tackle America's inner corruption. Like all of the liberal ponces trying to impeach him because they never wanted him to be president in the first place. So they're all picking every fault that they possibly can at everything that he does and whatnot. And to be honest, I think he's a coward for not fighting back against America's liberal virus that it's suffering from and all. But another thing that I think makes him a coward in recent times is the way he tries to be all bold and brave when it comes to international posturing with North Korea and little Kim, the leader, little Kim Jong-un. He tries to be all brave and masculine. He tries to be all brave and masculine and bold about it. But then, once little Kim has been provoked to the point where he's ready to start making missile strikes against America, it turns out that Hawaii is going to be the most likely target, and Donald starts saying to them how like 10% of them could die while he's cowering and hiding away in his safe um, within the confines of his barricades, blocking off the White House, keeping him nice and safe and sound, and it just makes and I just think it's very cowardly of him, to be honest, to be throwing other Americans to the front lines and letting them take the hit after antagonizing little Kim, knowing that when he retaliates, he's going to wipe little Kim off the map and whatnot. I just think it's absolute cowardice for Donald. He isn't putting himself in any danger whatsoever when antagonizing little Kimmy in North Korea. But but regardless, I've run out of lies now due to my newbie performance on the levels just then. So without further ado, I bid you all farewell, my friends. Goodbye, yes, goodbye, yes.